What's up, people? Today we're going to be talking about some hollow performative virtue signaling from the world of sports. Here in the States, we've become accustomed to this sort of thing. Whether it's the NBA's proudly flying the BLM flag in the bubble a couple seasons ago, only to quickly rescind their overt show of public support when it affected their bottom line, to the NFL promoting segregation by playing two quote unquote national anthems before the start of their games, to any of the countless other displays of activism we've seen in recent years. It's almost like having a cause is nearly as important as the game itself. In any event, this story comes from the land currently known as New Zealand, where the men's national soccer team could be seeing a name change in the near future. Rumors first started surfacing last month when it was reported the team was looking at dropping the All Whites nickname as part of a diversity drive. Radio New Zealand reported it was under review because the governing body feared all whites could be seen as carrying racial undertones. New Zealand Football declined to comment directly on the nickname but said all aspects of the game were being examined as part of a journey around cultural inclusivity. Now, any of you out there familiar with New Zealand sports likely had your mind go to one place, and I'll come to that in a second. But I want to continue with a report from Sunday which said, New Zealand Football is set to leave any decisions on the future of the All Whites name until after the end of the team's 2022 World Cup campaign. Chief Executive Andrew Pragnell said work to understand perceptions of the governing body's brands and potentially make changes was only just getting started, and while that included the names of its national teams, they were quote-unquote not a priority in 2022. My guess would be the body is looking to defer any negative backlash until after this World Cup cycle is complete, so as not to impact television ratings, then change the name and hope any fear has died down by the time the 2026 World Cup ramps up. It's the dollars. Always the fucking dollars. Now, to get to the point I said I'd mention earlier, I don't know about soccer because, and no offense to the great Rodney Dangerfield, I quit caring about the sport after seeing ladybugs as a kid. But as a fan of rugby at least, I know naming your side after the color of your kit is common enough. In Super Rugby, the Southern Hemisphere's professional league, you have the Reds from Queensland, Australia, and you have the Blues from Auckland, New Zealand. The French international team is nicknamed Le Blues, the Italians go by the Azzurri, and naturally you have New Zealand's own All Blacks. And the All Whites is a play on their rugby counterpart's name due to an old FIFA rule that reserved black for the referees. Now, I wonder why you don't hear anyone demanding the All Blacks change their moniker in the name of inclusivity.
That's a mystery.
Because if what they're implying is true, you'd just as soon picture a team full of black fellas when you heard that name as you would a team full of honkies when you hear All Whites. Or what about their basketball team, the Tall Blacks? I mean, Christ! If there's a team name that seems to carry racial undertones, it'd be that one. But no. It seems the term inclusivity just means as long as it doesn't make you think of the dreaded whites. In the States, we've seen the talk of team names and mascots go on for a while. The Washington Redskins dropped that name and accompanying mascot in 2020 after years of debate. The Cleveland Indians will be known as the Guardians following the end of the current season, and there are talks of the Atlanta Braves eventually following suit. And in one of the more ridiculous suggestions, woke warrior and ESPN personality Max Kellerman, or as I like to call him, Slacks Fell for Men, suggested changing the name of the Notre Dame Fighting Irish because, according to him, some Irish people find it offensive. Now, I'm of Scottish and Irish descent, and even if the mascot name were in reference to our penchant for drunken hot-headedness, which, hey, stereotypes exist for a reason, I still believe you'd be hard-pressed to find an Irishman offended. But that's not even the case, as the mascot is meant to represent the fighting spirit of the people after centuries of war with their English oppressors to the famous exploits of the Fighting 69th during the American Civil War and beyond. My first take on this would be, with Slacks being the woke weenie he is, it was his attempt to discredit the notion that anyone would be proud to have their people be a mascot. But all that is besides the point. We're talking about the fucking color of the team's uniform. That's it. That's where their name comes from. And if you think it's offensive that their team is named after that, you're either a liar looking to garner some brownie points from the mob, or maybe you're a racist. In any event,
Get the fuck out of here.